Very good. Okay.
Summary.
So in your previous class, we discussed beta oxidation, and so I'll summarize before we get into the next topic. That is uh, formation and fate of ketone bodies. We'll summarize what we discussed in your previous class. Okay. So beta oxidation is oxidation of fatty acid into, that is at the beta carbon atom. Okay, and along with that it releases acetyl CoA molecule that enters TCA cycle. So that is what is called as beta oxidation. So the overall picture of overall beta oxidation process is here. So once we eat food, the triglycerides are converted into fatty acids, and so these fatty acids will enter the cell by a specialized transport mechanism. So you with the help of fatty acid transporter, and this fatty acid is converted to fatty acyl CoA by the action of fatty acyl CoA synthase enzyme, and fatty acyl CoA is converted into, so fatty acyl CoA is is not permeable through the mitochondrial membrane. Okay, from cytoplasm it has to be carried through the mitochondria. That is done by carnitine shuttle. Okay, so here what happens is the carnitine is going to bind with fatty acyl CoA and it will form acyl carnitine. So the acyl carnitine is permeable through the mitochondrial membrane. So here this is with the help of a specialized protein, that is carnitine acyl transporter protein, so it can pass through the mitochondrial membrane easily. So fatty acyl CoA will form acyl carnitine by the action of enzyme carnitine, that is transferase 1. So here CPT1, and this enters the mitochondria, and from mitochondria again it forms a fatty acyl CoA by the action of CPT2. Okay, and this fatty acyl CoA undergoes beta oxidation, and it releases acetyl CoA. This acetyl CoA enters TCA cycle. During beta oxidation, one molecule of NADH and one molecule of FADH2 is also released in each cycle of beta oxidation. Okay, so here, so these from TCA cycle 12 ATP from each acetyl CoA 12 ATPs are generated. That is 12 ATPs from TCA cycle, and 3 from NADH to 15, and 2 from FADH2. That is total 17 ATPs are generated from each cycle of beta oxidation. Okay, so this is the overall process of beta oxidation. Okay. So beta oxidation, so initially it requires activation. So 2 ATPs are consumed. After activation, so this beta acyl CoA undergoes 4 reactions. So these are catalyzed by 4 major enzymes: acyl CoA dehydrogenase, enol CoA hydratase, 3-hydroxy acyl CoA dehydrogenase, and thiolase, 3-keto-acyl CoA thiolase. So here in the first step, 2 hydrogens are removed from alpha and beta carbon atom. A double bond is formed, and from alpha and so this again further water molecule is added to the alpha and beta carbon. To the alpha carbon atom, hydrogen is added. To beta carbon atom, hydroxyl group is added. And in the next step, again hydrogens are removed. This time both the hydrogens are removed from the beta carbon atom. So this hydrogen and this hydrogen is removed, and it will form 3-keto-acyl CoA, and finally this molecule will release acetyl CoA, and it will form a new acyl CoA which contains 2 carbons less than its parent acyl CoA. Okay, so this acetyl CoA will enter the TCA cycle. So regulation of this beta oxidation. Beta oxidation, the availability of free fatty acid will regulate the net utilization through beta oxidation. Okay, the level of free fatty acid is controlled by glucagon insulin ratio. So glucagon increases free fatty acid level, that is glucagon is released more when glucose level is less. So that indicates our body needs to utilize fatty acids for energy because glucose is not available. Our body prefers, that is, gives first preference to glucose for the source of energy. So if it is draining out, then what happens is our body tries to conserve this glucose by utilizing fatty acid for as an energy resource. So glucagon increases free fatty acid level and insulin reduces free fatty acid level because insulin is released when our body is having more amount of glucose. Okay. So carnitine acyl transferase is one of the regulatory enzymes. It regulates the entry of free fatty acids into mitochondria. And malonyl-CoA, that is formed from acetyl-CoA during fatty acid synthesis, will inhibit this CAT1, carnitine acyl transferase. That is, when malonyl-CoA is formed or more amount of malonyl-CoA is present, that indicates our body is forming more amount of fatty acid, that is fatty acid synthesis. That indicates our body is sufficient with ADPs. So that is why it is going with anabolism rather than catabolism. Okay. So during de novo synthesis of fatty acid, the beta oxidation is inhibited. De novo synthesis of fatty acid is an anabolic process that occurs when our body is having sufficient energy, and so in that case it will inhibit the catabolic process of beta oxidation. Okay. So this is one of the websites you can look into for any further details. I have taken the diagrams that I have added in the summary of beta oxidation from that website. Okay. So this is a very important thing, that is practice and repetition. Practice and repetition spaced over a long period of time facilitates a transfer to long-term memory. So if you want to memorize easily, practice and repeat. Practice and repeat. Okay. So the next thing is formation and fate of ketone body. Today we will discuss about formation and fate of ketone bodies. So ketone bodies, ketones we know, that is, ketones are the substances which contain, the general formula of ketones is RC double bond O R dash, right? So here we have a different definition for ketone bodies, slightly modified definition for ketone bodies, that we will look into it, and what is their role in maintaining homeostasis and providing energy. They play a very important role, so that we will look into today's class. Okay, so these are considered as ketone bodies: acetone, acetoacetic acid, beta hydroxy butyric acid. Okay, so these are the byproducts of breakdown of fat for energy. When our body that is carries out beta oxidation or metabolizes, that is catabolizes fat for the production of energy. So these three things are produced, that is acetone, acetoacetic acid and beta hydroxy butyrate. So these are a special source of fuel or energy for certain tissues. Okay. So what are the objectives of today's class? So today's class, at the end of this class, you people will be able to define ketone bodies, enlist different ketone bodies that you people are able to do, that is acetone, acetoacetate, acetic acid and beta hydroxybutyric acid. In fact, beta hydroxybutyric acid is not a ketone, but still it is added under the ketone bodies because it is a derivative of part of these molecules and it is generated along with the fatty acid breakdown. Okay. So then the next thing is recall structures of ketone bodies, then explain ketogenesis, explain ketogenolysis, recall significance of ketogenesis and ketogenolysis. Okay, so these are the objectives. So here our definition of these ketone bodies is, that is, some of the acetyl-CoA produced by fatty acid oxidation in liver that is in liver mitochondria is converted to this acetone, acetoacetic acid and beta hydroxybutyrate, what we call them as ketone bodies. So and so these are called as ketone bodies. Ketone bodies are the substances that are produced by the conversion of that is acetyl-CoA produced by fatty acid in liver mitochondria. Okay, so these compounds are used in healthy individuals to provide energy to the cells of the body when glucose level is low or absent in the diet. Mainly, this plays a very important role in providing energy when we are fasting. Okay, when we are fasting or starving, so what happens is when you don't consume food for a longer period of time, so then the fat breaks down and it will produce acetyl-CoA, and this acetyl-CoA is converted to acetone, acetoacetic acid, beta-hydroxybutyrate. These will become the source of energy for many different type of cells. So now, the question is why these ketone bodies are formed? What is their role? So when glucose level is very high, so the body stores the excess as fats, it builds proteins, and this also utilizes the glucose and other fat and proteins in general growth. Okay, so this condition, like when we have a sufficient amount of glucose and our body is able to utilize that glucose, that condition is known as absorptive state. Okay, where our body is absorbing the glucose very well. When we are fasting or starving, that is when we are not consuming food, the glucose level in the blood will fall down very quickly. Okay, so this triggers the body to enter a state known as post-absorptive state. This will trigger the body to enter the post-absorptive states in the body, and this in this condition, some of the features of this condition is the body breaks down fat into fatty acids, glycogen into glucose, and amino acids, and it also breaks down the amino acids for energy. Okay, so once glycogen does not stay in our body for a very longer period of time, if we are not eating food, maximum for 4 to 6 hours. Once glycogen stores are depleted, what happens is the body should depend on the breakdown on breakdown of other molecules like proteins and fats for production of energy. Okay, so most of the cells in the body can survive on fatty acids. Okay, so that is created from the breakdown of fat. But our brain and liver prefer glucose as a source of energy. They don't easily take up fat breakdown. That is, fat breakdown does not easily start in the brain and liver for the generation of ATP. So they mainly depend on glucose. So that is why if we are not eating food, the first thing is we will become very lazy. So that is why we need to have food on time even during pandemics also. We should not skip our schedule, and we need to have food on time. We need to be active. We need to stay proactive as much as possible. Okay. So, source of so this when a person starts, that is, does not eat for more than 3 to 4 days, then only our brain will utilize fat for the generation of ATP. Okay, what is the significance of this ketogenesis and ketogenolysis? So this is a source of fuel for brain, heart and muscle when we are fasting. Major energy source for brain during starvation. So they are transportable forms of fatty acids. Okay, so now we will see how ketone bodies are formed. Okay, so this occurs only in the mitochondrial matrix. So there are 3 important steps in this. The first step is formation of acetoacetyl-CoA from acetyl-CoA. Second step is formation of hexamethylene glutaryl-CoA, that is called as HMG-CoA. Third step is the formation of HMG-CoA lyase, that is breakdown of HMG-CoA. Okay, so here you have the pathway. So here 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA will combine and they'll form acetoacetyl-CoA in the first step. So here acetyl-CoA thiolase enzyme will catalyze this reaction. So here 1 molecule of coenzyme A will move out. So here 1 more molecule of acetyl-CoA will transfer the acyl group that is will transfer this CH3CO, that is acyl group, to the acetoacetyl CoA. So this will form 3-hydroxy. So it is called 3-hydroxy, starting from the functional group 1, 2, 3-hydroxy, 3-methyl glutaryl CoA. Okay, it is having 5 carbon atoms. So it is called as HMG CoA because it is 3-hydroxy, 3-methyl glutaryl CoA. So in short, it is called as HMG CoA. So here, by the action of HMG CoA lyase, it will lose one molecule of acetyl CoA and it will form acetoacetate. Okay, so here you have the first ketone body. So this acetoacetate will lose one molecule of carbon dioxide and it will form acetone. This is the second ketone body, and the same acetoacetate will undergo reduction, that is beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase. So it will add 2 hydrogens at the second carbon, that is carbon atom, the carbonyl carbon, and it will form beta hydroxybutyrate. Okay, and it will form beta hydroxybutyrate. So these are the 3 ketone bodies. So this is the pathway for ketogenesis. So the acetyl CoA that is utilized here is the acetyl CoA that is generated by beta oxidation of fatty acids. Okay. The next thing is breakdown, that is fate of ketone bodies. What happens to the ketone bodies? How they help in generation of ATP? Okay. So these when acetyl CoA is converted to ketone body, they act as an energy resource, just like glycogen, for the generation of ATP. Okay. So here, like beta hydroxybutyrate, when energy is needed, beta hydroxybutyrate will be released. Beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase will act on this and it will convert beta hydroxybutyrate to acetoacetate. Okay, so this is an beta hydroxybutyrate, it is converted to acetoacetate. Okay, so this acetoacetate is further, by the action of succinyl CoA, the succinyl CoA will transfer the coenzyme A to acetoacetate. So by the action of the enzyme coenzyme A transferase to form acetoacetyl CoA. Okay, so this acetoacetyl CoA, by the action of thiolase, it will form 2 molecules of acetyl CoA. So this oxidation is almost a reversible pathway to the ketogenesis, that is beta hydroxybutyrate is converted to acetoacetate. Acetoacetate is again directly converted to acetoacetyl CoA. Then this will release 2 molecules of acetyl CoA. Okay. So this is the ketone bodies formation and utilization. So these 2 acetyl CoA molecules that are generated will enter TCA cycle. What is the significance of ketogenesis and ketogenolysis? Ketone bodies are water soluble. They are convenient to transport in blood and are readily taken up by the non-hepatic tissues, that is tissues other than present in liver. So in early stages of fasting, the use of ketone bodies by heart, skeletal muscle will conserve the glucose because our central nervous system do not readily utilize fatty acids unless it is extreme condition of starving. So our heart and other muscles will utilize fatty acids and support the central nervous system, where the central nervous system and brain prefers to utilize carbohydrates or glucose as a source of energy. Okay. So the high concentration of ketone bodies can induce a condition known as ketonemia and ketonuria. That is, higher amount of ketone bodies are present in blood. It is called as ketonemia. Ketonuria means where ketone bodies are present in ketone. Okay, and it can also cause ketosis and ketoacidosis. Okay, so even in case of disease conditions like diabetes, where the carbohydrate catabolism is prevented or blocked because the insulin is not present, which is the carrier molecule, and the glucose does not enter the cell and it is not utilized, or defect of sugar source, the blood concentration of ketone bodies will rise. Okay, so this is an indicative of that is ketosis and acidosis. Ketoacidosis is an indicative of diabetes mellitus. Okay, so the brain prefers glucose as a source of energy, but it will begin to switch to ketone bodies only after about 4 days of starvation. Okay, so now ketone bodies and diabetes, what is the relationship between this? So diabetes is a condition in which the body cannot or will not produce insulin. Insulin signals so the role of insulin is it helps in uptake of glucose into the cell where it is used for energy. So in case of diabetes, what happens? Insulin is not available to transfer the glucose into the cell. So the glucose will remain trapped in the blood. So the glucose level will increase in the blood in case of diabetes because it is not utilized. Okay, without glucose in the cell, the body begins uptake of fatty acid from blood. Okay, because the cell is deprived of glucose, so the body will transfer the fatty acids to provide energy. So the lack of glucose also triggers the liver to start making glucose. It also promotes glycogenolysis from the liver. So as this happens, what happens? The ketone bodies are released. So these ketone bodies can be utilized for energy, but only if the proper intermediates are present. So these intermediates are provided by the breakdown of glucose. Since the breakdown of glucose is not happening, so these ketone bodies are most of the ketone bodies remain unutilized. Okay, so this leads to accumulation of these ketone bodies in the bloodstream. So that is a condition called as ketonemia. Okay, so here, so this causes sudden ketonemia, ketonuria, and ketoacidosis, a condition known as ketoacidosis. So diabetes is often diagnosed by by the smell of acetone or fruity odor in the urine of the patient, and breath, that is fruity odor in the person's breath, and the urine will be highly acidic, and acetone can be detected in urine. Okay, so these signs indicate that the patient is suffering from severe ketoacidosis, and it has to be addressed because it is a life-threatening condition. Okay, a dose of insulin will allow the blood glucose level to drop, and the insulin will start utilizing glucose will help in the utilization of glucose for the source of energy. Then the ketone body level will drop immediately. Okay, so the intermediates required will be created from the breakdown of glucose, and the ketone bodies will also be cleared out of the system in a short time. Okay, so one more thing is about keto diet. So researchers are exploring the keto diet as a way to mitigate diabetes, though they warn that any diabetics on a keto diet should be under supervision of a doctor, because the diet can lead to dramatic swings in blood glucose level that can be very, very dangerous. So that is why keto diet should be avoided as much as possible, but if it is taken, it should be under strict supervision of a specialized doctor who is managing these things. Okay, so in summaries to today's class, acetone, acetoacetate, and beta-hydroxybutyrate are called as ketone bodies. So biosynthesis of ketone bodies occurs at mitochondrial matrix. Ketone bodies are generated by breakdown of fat. So these are generated during depletion of glucose due to fasting or starvation. these are oxidized to generate acetyl CoA. Okay. So this is about your class for today. So at the end, exercise improves our memory and ability to learn. So work out a bit, wake up early, jog, stretch your body, flex your muscles. Okay. So happy learning to all of you. So you have any